Traveling with two witches had given Jaskier a lot of time to observe them in as natural of a habitat as he was likely to see. They'd been up late the night before, Lambert almost showing off as he asked for song after song from the bard, while Eskel sat entranced as Jaskier sang. The younger man might have shown off just a little, prancing around their little campsite and singing himself hoarse almost. When Lambert had asked him to sing Her Sweet Kiss with a significant nudge of Eskel's arm when the bard agreed, he had let himself get caught up in the emotion of the song, the matching gleaming cat eyes fixed on his every move, not helping him forget the inspiration for the song easily. Eskel had looked so heartbroken when he finished, his soft amber eyes showing the most emotion Jaskier had seen from a witcher. Yet, he wasn't counting the pain in a certain witcher's eyes on a certain mountaintop, that the bard had sat quietly for a moment before Lambert loudly started asking for his song, for the 8th time that night. Jaskier had agreed and thrown himself into another rendition of The Dark Wolf and the Princess, adding in silly faces and rude gestures to try and cheer up his puppies. Lambert had joined in with a dramatic reenactment of his own heroics, complete with rescuing the fair princess, a bit of rabbit on a spit, and proceeding to snog, said princess, until Eskel told him to stop playing with his food. Jaskier loved seeing this side of Lambert, and was determined that one day he would see the others this light-hearted. Ambitious plans for a simple bard, but by the gods was he stubborn and creative enough to make it happen. Phase 1 seemed to be complete with Lambert, so it was time to figure out what made Eskel tick. Eskel had called the little concert to an end, when Jaskier almost brained himself on a tree root when he tripped over his own feet. The witcher's quick reactions were the only reason he didn't eat dirt, and he was quickly dumped onto his bedroll and told to go to sleep before he hurt himself. Lambert laughed at the dramatic huff Jaskier gave before he snuggled under the blanket, Eskel draped around him. It smelt like the potions that he saw the witches using from time to time, and Jaskier couldn't stop himself from burrowing deeper into it and allowing himself to drift off to sleep with his big scary witches murmuring to each other over his head. He had woken the next morning to hear a hushed discussion between the two, with Lambert trying to convince Eskel to join them on the path. He had tried to keep his breathing as even as possible, hoping his puppies were too caught up in their own conversation to notice him eavesdropping. "You have to help me. I have no idea how the hell he survived this long on his own. The little idiot seems to be a trouble magnet. I spend as much time keeping his ass out of trouble as I do hunting monsters." "Really, Lambert, you can't look after one little human? What would Vesemir have to say? Honestly, if I couldn't smell the difference, I would think he was cursed or something. You saw the way he tried to save me from you last night. He's ridiculous. I will say, though, I've never had it as good as I do traveling with him. No one spits in your ale, and you actually get paid more often than not. They even let you have the nice rooms that you stay in an inn, not the lice-infested shitholes we usually get." "Well, I suppose we can travel together for a while. He seems to have domesticated you quickly enough. He must be something special after all." "Oh, ha ha, asshole. You wait till he starts with the flower crowns and the scented soaps. I had wondered why I wasn't assaulted by your usual aroma when I found you. If he's so amazing, why would Geralt leave him behind?" It took everything Jaskier had not to react when all he wanted was to scream and run away from this conversation. But a tiny part of him needed to stay, needed to hear how much Lambert needed his company and how the Witcher felt about his newest traveling companion. He tried to convince himself that he wasn't waiting to hear Lambert say that he had had enough of the bard, but he couldn't deny the sinking feeling in his stomach. Fucking idiot. From what I've gotten out of a little lark, Geralt fucked up with the sorceress he's been plowing, got told where to shove his usual. Geralt knows best for everyone routine, and decided to take it all out on the bard. Some crap about Jaskier being to blame for all the shit in his life. Asshole probably bottled all his crap up and decided that since the bard won't hit back, he was the perfect target to let it all out. And how has the bard been? We both know that when Geralt blows up, he can get vicious. The poor thing thinks it's his fault. Seems to be terrified of being too much and being left alone. I've been trying to make sure he's okay, but you know I'm not the flowers and feelings type of guy. You've always been the one that makes things better. I need you to fix this one, Eskel. I think Geralt did some real damage here. If it means that much to you, of course I'll help. We can travel together for a while, and when we find a contract, One of us can watch the bard while the other hunts. Might be a bit tight for money, but we can make it work. It should be fine. I meant what I said about people paying well with him around. Not only do the people issuing the contract tend to pay well, you get randoms in inns trying to slip coins to you, quoting his bloody songs. I've been making enough money to take care of the two of us with coin to spare, not including the money he makes performing. I haven't let him pay for much. He deserves to spend his money on all the pretty little trinkets he buys. Eskel's smothered laugh as Jaskier rolled over in indignation. Pretty little trinkets? Well, let's see if I give you of the little gifts I had squirreled away. Eskel, love. I sure hope you are sensible enough to know better than to be rude to your glorious traveling companion. Especially since I hear you've made the foolish decision to help this lughead here keep up with me. That had Eskel bursting out into laughter, and one look at Lambert's panicked expression had him losing control completely. Jaskier clapped his hands in delight, enjoying the way Eskel's eyes crinkled delightfully, even as he curved in on himself as if he was trying to hide his laughter. The bard promised himself that he would have to find every opportunity possible to make the Witcher laugh until he got to see the wolves comfortable in his own skin. If you two old biddies are quite finished gossiping, I suggest we move on. I expect to spend the night in an inn this time, Lambert darling, so you will have to keep those oversized paws to yourself. Eskel, love, I assume I can trust you not to go punching anyone who disagrees with you. You seem to have gotten all of the brains in Witcher school, unlike this oversized puppy here, Jaskier teased, hanging off of Lambert's arm and shrieking in laughter when the Witcher lifted him off of the ground and above his head. I can see why Lambert asked me to travel with you. You do seem to be a handful, Eskel said with a shy grin. Come on, you two. If His Majesty would like a bed, there's a town a few hours' ride to the east. Jaskier, do you want to ride double and scorpion here? Jaskier squirmed until Lambert lowered him gently to the ground before bounding over to throw himself at Eskel. The Witcher's reflexes turned the move into something graceful, and Jaskier preened as he was settled onto the warhorse. I thought you would never ask, dear heart. See, Lambert, most people name their horses, and I'm sure Lady Horsington would appreciate you calling her by name. The Witchers shared an exasperated look before collecting their gear and mounting their respective horses. Jaskier waited impatiently from his perch on Scorpion, strumming a few chords as he watched his boys. He would have to come up with a suitable name for his new darling, something that captured his gentle nature while also being suitably ferocious. He couldn't have people taking advantage of his puppies after all. He was sure by the time they reached the next town, he would have some ideas for a new song. Who wouldn't with these two beside them? Unfortunately for the two dashing witches Jaskier was traveling with, they were only just arriving at the unnamed village Eskel had mentioned when there was a flash of light and Yennefer of Vengerberg strode out of a portal looking as perfect as ever. Do you know how annoying it is trying to track you down? She asked, walking quickly over to him and gesturing in frustration. Her dress was stunning as usual, black vines twining over her body and emphasizing her curves rather than hiding them. Where's Geralt? Is he off on a hunt? Hello to you too, Yennefer. If you're looking for a quick screw, I am sorry to say I haven't seen him since the whole dragon debacle. So sorry to inconvenience you. Have a good time tracking him down and continuing your passionate affair. The pathetic bard will continue on somehow in the absence of your majesty. Jaskier spat, leaning back into Eskel's warmth. What? No. I have no need of Geralt. I bring greetings from our mutual friends, Philippa and Dijkstra. Yennefer was as abrupt as usual, an impatient look on her face as she hurried through the expected greeting. Jaskier sighed and dragged a hand down his face. All he wanted was some time with his darling witches, not more jobs to do. Oh, for fuck's sake. Riggenow, why the hell are you caught up in this? Yennefer sniffed at him, somehow managing to look down her nose at the three of them even as they towered above her on their horses. I don't think I need to explain myself to you. Suffice to say, I owe Philippa a favor, and she has requested your presence at a ball being held in Verdun. You know what Philippa is like. How are you caught up in drama with fucking sorceresses, little lark? We thought you were the sensible one here. Lambert asked, ignoring the way Yennefer tried to control the conversation. Jaskier smiled at the protectiveness in his darling's voice and leaned back into Eskel behind him on Scorpion in an attempt to settle both of his witches. He knew they both had issues with sorceresses for different reasons and appreciated the way they worried for him. Lambert, darling, it's not the sorceresses I'm worried about. You know me, I like to rub elbows with all the fancy lords and ladies. Sometimes that means attending certain balls as favors to good friends. I don't suppose we have much time before this ball, do we? You know how it goes, Jaskier. It took me long enough to find you. We would be portelling into town today so you can attend tomorrow. King Erviul is already expecting you to play and has offered rooms in his palace, as well as a rush order for you and any companions you bring with you to be properly outfitted. Yennefer shot both of the witches an appraising look, making Jaskier bristle protectively. I must confess, I was expecting you to be in the company of a different witcher. Why the change-up? I am not indulging your need for gossip, Yennefer. I am above such petty matters. He turned a glare on the witches, sniggering at that comment. I will have to ask my two lovely companions if they would like to join me. Unlike some people, I do not expect those I care for to cater to my every whim. Lambert and Eskel shared a quick glance before Lambert nodded. Might as well see how the fancy people live. It might make a nice change. You should know better than to have to ask, Jaskier. Not all witches are idiots. Yennefer shot Lambert an assessing glare. Maybe not, but it does seem like all witches think ridiculously loud. Bard, you know that Geralt is an ass. Anything he said to you. Stay out of my head, witch. Lambert snarled, moving aggressively towards her. Yennefer sniffed at him dismissively, ignoring the way he bristled further. Jaskier slid from Scorpion's back, patting Eskel's thigh comfortingly as he moved to stand face to face with Yennefer. That was below you, Yennefer of Vengerberg. I have earned the right to keep some parts of my life private. You of all people should know better than to take that right from another. He stared into her lavender eyes, inclining his head when they widened in shock. We will go to this ball, and you will leave that chapter of our lives in the past. In return, we can talk later this evening, bard to sorceress, about our problems with each other and come to an agreement. Fair? Yennefer stared at him a moment longer before nodding sharply and turning back to her portal. Agreed. But if I hear the damned song about me being a harlot, not even your bodyguards here will be able to find enough of you to bury with that loot. Come along then, boys. We have a party to attend. She gestured for them to enter the portal, and Jaskier smiled at her sadly before walking straight in. He heard his witches swearing behind him as he stepped through into the courtyard of the palace before they followed him. He turned at the sound of the portal closing behind them and grinned as he saw a serving boy hesitantly approach the sorceress. See to the horses, boy. And you lot, follow me. We don't have a lot of time to get your outfits sorted, and given the size of you two, the poor tailor might have a fit if we don't hurry. She strode off towards the palace, leaving the three men to scramble after her with their packs. After leading them through several ornate hallways, she brought them to the same rooms Jaskier remembered using the last time he was here. The tailor is waiting in the sitting room. You two go ahead, I need a word with your bard, Yennefer ordered, waving a hand lazily at the door. Jaskier smiled at their wary faces and waved off their concern. The two men were clearly uncomfortable in the palace, trying to maintain as much distance between themselves and all of the trinkets and art that littered the hallways as if they were afraid of breaking something. Go get the tailor started, dear hearts. Tell him to draw up a few designs and I'll be over in just a minute to help finalize any decisions. We can't have the heroic witches of Kaer Morhen not looking their best at the ball. At this, both men went pale and shuffled through the door as if going to their doom. Jaskier suppressed a smirk and turned to face the dark-haired woman now lounging across the end of the bed. Philippa would like you to keep your ear to the ground tonight, Bard, especially concerning Nilfgaard and Sintra, Yennefer said, twirling a curl of her hair around her finger dismissively. Really, Yennefer, is that all she had to say? How bloody obvious I thought I was here to see what I can learn about the bloody table arrangements. Jaskier stomped around the room angrily before throwing himself into a chair and facing her. He was obviously doing well curating the persona of a harmless social butterfly if Philip and Dijkstra were treating him like this. He was good at his work, gods be good, and the information he gathered was always accurate and never followed up with a series of suspicious deaths, so why the disrespect? Stop pretending to be smart, Bard, and just get the job done. I don't want to have to deal with the mood Philip will be in if you screw this up. But enough of this. Where did you find the two next door? You seem to be Witcher catnip. Yennefer fixed him with a lazy grin, raising her eyebrows suggestively. Oh, ha ha. You're hilarious, really. Jaskier shook his head dismissively. Lambert and Eskel are good men. They just need someone to show them how to have fun without causing a massacre. The sorceress rolled her eyes at him, a strange look on her face. It reminded Jaskier of the way he felt when his boys talked about Geralt, that feeling of missing out on something everyone else seemed to see in someone else. Speaking of witches, and this is going to be as much fun for me as it is for you. So just let me say this, I just wanted to check that you are all right. Given the way a certain acquaintance of ours reacted when I last saw him, I assume he said some less than pleasant things to you as well. If you wanted to talk about any of it, I'm willing to listen, he said in a gentle voice. It was clear the woman had been hurt by whatever happened on that mountaintop, and she was lashing out like a wounded cat. It was far too similar to the way his witches had been acting. How the hell was he finding himself feeling bad for the bloody sorceress that had barreled into his life like a hurricane and left devastation in her wake? Really? You think I'm going to open up and share all my deepest, darkest secrets with you? You think I want them shared around the continent in another song about the dark-haired harlot from Vengerberg? How stupid do you think I am? She laughed harshly at him, violet eyes flashing with fire. Jaskier moved to kneel beside where she was lying on the bed and take her hand in his. I apologize for the song, Yennefer. I was angry and hurt at someone else and took it out on you. Can you forgive me? She held his gaze for a moment, then turned away as he caught the sheen of tears in her eyes. I should turn you into a toad. You're lucky I'm not in the mood. I suppose we can talk about the delightful conversations Geralt had with us. I must say, I'm intrigued as to just what he said to make you leave his side. I had thought you two were quite inseparable. Jaskier chuckled darkly at that. Yes, I had thought we at least had a mutual understanding. Turns out, I was just making everything worse, as usual, and he would prefer it to not have to see my face again. But it's fine. I'm more worried about you. I had thought that you two had some kind of relationship or scary attractive people's club thing going on. It was that bloody djinn. Apparently his wish was about our relationship, and I refuse to be with someone and not know if their feelings are true or manufactured by magic. She dashed the tears from her eyes, magic crackling in the air around her and making the hair on Jaskier's arms lift. Her words seemed to burn into his mind. Shit. So I must apologize once again. The chin thing was my fault. I shouldn't have been messing around with it. He moved to pull away from her, wanting to curl up into a ball and hide away from the world. She held onto his hands firmly, refusing to let him turn away. He really did a number on you, didn't he? Yennefer said in the softest voice he had ever heard from her. She seemed much more human like this, rather than the scary, powerful witch he knew she was. The djinn was Geralt's fault all the way through. By the gods, you almost died because that oaf doesn't know better than to play around with magics that are beyond his understanding. I refuse to indulge your little pity party, Jaskier. You amuse me too much for me to ignore this. Next time I see that asshole, I'm going to have a nice long chat with him about taking responsibility for his own damn choices, not blaming everything on someone else. Jaskier smiled appreciatively back at her. Honey, you don't need to trouble yourself on my behalf. We can just be good friends and look out for each other. The gods know I need someone to talk to who doesn't think telling me about the way they kill some icky little beastie in graphic detail is just what I need as I'm trying to eat. Yennefer smacked the top of his head gently. What rubbish are you talking now, Bard? Did you hit your head falling down that mountain? I don't need friends. I have enough power to protect myself. Oh, Yenna, may I call you Yenna? That, right there, is exactly why I am going to be the best friend you ever had. Don't worry, I won't make you declare your undying love for me just yet. For now, you can help me figure out how to make those two overgrown puppies of mine look their best. I fear I will have my hands full trying to get them to wear any color but black to this ball. Jaskia smiled gently at the sorceress and offered her an escape from the emotion-filled conversation. Fine, I shall help you with the witches, but in return you will let me choose your outfit for the ball. I have seen some of the garish outfits you favor. It's time for you to look less like a peacock and more like a professional entertainer. She stood up gracefully from where she had been reclining and pulled Jaskia to his feet, twirling him playfully like he was a small child. I do not look like a peacock. I am the height of fashion, Yenna. And you must call me Jas. It's only fair if I'm going to let you dress me all in black like some sultry seductress. There was a muffled bang from the room next door, followed by some loud swearing, and the pair swapped an indulgent look before wading into the battle that would be preparing two witches for a ball.